Hi guys, welcome back to my Steps to Sobriety, my show on YouTube and as a podcast with me, your host, Stefan Neff. Today is another great day for an interview because I've got Dawn Bates with me. Dawn is a woman who is a true cosmopolitan, who has lived around the world and is writing about her journey. And I'm dead excited to have her as a fellow author on my show. And she has become kind of a specialist in rattling your molecules. And her key question is, when was the last time you had your molecules rattled? And I must say, I was taken by that question, and I could not say when the last time was. So I'm looking forward to today. This is here live on this show. I get my molecules rattled. I mean, this must be a first. Welcome to the show, Dawn.
Thank you, and I'm up for the challenge.
No, it's brilliant.
I think I just did in the pre-show, did I not?
Oh, please. There's a little bit of background here. Dawn and me met through an internet discussion forum, and we tried to get this show on the road for a while now. And mainly due to my misunderstanding, there were a few hiccups on the road. For example, Dawn is now living in beautiful Buenos Aires. But on one of the social media handles, she is in the UK at the university there. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay, UK, automatically sort of the 11-hour time difference. So I sent her a nice request. Come on, we do this interview at whenever the 11 hours time difference was, which happened to be sort of in the middle in the night for her. So there I was waiting
3 a.m.
That's right. So I sent her one message after the other. Okay, I'm ready now. Come on then. So what's happening? Are you sleeping in? And nothing happened.
I
Didn't
was.
hear back. Exactly. So, and it just shows, guys, never take anything for granted. Check your backstory. Check every single detail.
Absolutely.
And don't get hooked upon one side of a story, whilst that might be part of the story, but it might be anything but then the whole story. So good lesson to learn, good thing to lead into this interview. And tell us, Dawn, I'm intrigued because you've lived around the world. Was that always something that you had planned when you were a young girl? What did you want to be?
Oh, well, what didn't I want to be? I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to run my own business. I wanted to live at sea, and I've smashed all of those. I also wanted to be an author, and I've also wanted to have my own coffee shop library with an ocean view. That is still to come to fruition, but it will do. But yeah, I grew up in a very small village in the UK called Friday Bridge, which is the name of my first book. There are only 200 people that live there. And there was an international farm camp where people would come to the Friday Bridge International Camp, and they would learn about lots of different farming techniques. And just listening to all of these different languages, I'd be like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. I want to speak that language. What language is that? I want to go to where they're from. And you say these things as a child, but then you just go through life. And I was actually just talking to a friend of mine, Siobhan Barnett, who lives in Bali. We're both ocean people, and gosh, he's an amazing surfer. I really cannot wait to ride the waves with that guy. We just keep pinching ourselves that everything that we thought we'd do, we've actually smashed it and gone way beyond what we ever thought possible, and it's just incredible. So yeah, I guess I have always wanted to travel the world without even really knowing it.
Wow. But there is one thing of dreaming about something, and there is another thing of actually getting your passport up to date, getting the money together, and leaving a 200 citizen village. What did your mum and dad think you would do? Was there a family business that you were supposed to work with them?
No, I'm the first entrepreneur in my family. I break all the rules in my family. I have, all the rules of healing, all the rules of patterning. My parents, they're nothing entrepreneurial about them. My mum is just an incredible woman. They live in the village where my dad grew up. My dad has never really lived anywhere else. My brother and sister live within 3 miles of the family home. I scare the living daylights out of my sister because she's just, she's such a home bird. And the fact that I'm actually out of the country living and then just jumping on boats, going around the world and sailing around the world, writing books and running a business, she's just like, oh my God.
And for some people,
she lives vicariously through me, which is good.
Oh, good. But, for some people, it is absolutely terrorizing to get pushed even that little bit out of their comfort zone. And here you are, not just being a little bit out there, but you're way out there. You actually made the uncomfortable your comfort zone. You have to learn.
Absolutely.
You have learned to live a life that others only dream about. And it comes with advantages and disadvantages. There are many, many cool stories to tell, no doubt about that. And then there are also some scary stories, I guess. And
there are.
And you are basically writing your books out of your first-person perspective. And you're telling essentially your stories, isn't it?
I am, but it depends on which series of books that you're talking about. I'm currently writing 17 books at the moment.
Yeah, this is okay. So for those of you who are not authors, some of you have the dream of writing one book. Wow. And that is cool. That's absolutely cool. We encourage you. But it's like your first kiss, or it's like the first thing you've done something. It looks like insurmountable. And then suddenly when you've done it, you actually taste blood and you think, ooh, now that's nice, isn't it? And then suddenly these ideas keep coming. And you just one more idea. Ooh, and I could do, ooh.
That's not going to fit in one book. I've got to write another one to go with that one.
I know. And it is just, and that, how beautiful is that? Because when you start opening your life to opportunities, guess what? They're coming. They're coming. You actually from now and then need to press the door closed, and they still keep coming. And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's like a stampede with the new iPhone.
Oh, please. It is. And I love it.
I'm an iPhone person.
Oh, good. No, it is. It is just one of these things. It is, once you start opening yourself to new ideas, just watch that space. That's all I can say. And it doesn't matter. In our cases, we are authors, but it is whatever you choose to do, suddenly the shower becomes a very scary place. Because for many years, whenever I had a shower, I had a new idea about doing something creative, something, maybe a new chapter in a book, or a new book, or new this, new that. And it's cool. I wouldn't have it any other way. So it's lovely to see a fellow nutter out there who has been bitten by the creativity muse one too many times. And but it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's also the fact that some of the Sacral series that I'm writing at the moment, they're 9 real life stories that have been trusted to me. And because the content is so heavy, we're looking at, sexual abuse, trauma and rape, but also a lot of cultural diversity and systemic failure of governance. So they're very heavy. But people watch special victims units and Criminal Minds, or they'll read a Jack Reacher or a James Herbert or what have you, and they can be enthralled by it. But when you write true stories and you then write them into fiction just to protect identity, although the story that you read is absolutely real, it's always nice to actually go, okay, well, I've written that, I've researched that, So that's I need to leave that for the moment because I need to go and focus on something a little bit lighter. So I'm writing the Sacral series. Moana has went on pre-order yesterday,
Oh, beautiful.
Pacific time. I will say Pacific Standard Time, not New Zealand time, and not even Argentinian time. And then I've got the Mermaid's Guide series, which is the one that you're referring to of me writing as I sail around the world. Because in the Mermaid's Guide series, we have the Mermaid's Guide to Hitchhiking, which is my journey as what it's like to be a mother away from her children. And the healing journey that I've been on, following the episode that was in my third book, Crossing the Line. And I'm also looking at leadership, because one of the things I've done over the last 20 years is study leadership and develop leaders within industry and within organizations, whether they're community organizations or professional organizations. So looking at the differences between leadership on land as well as at sea. And then the different cultural diversities that are going on, and not just cultural diversity on an academic level, but the cultural and subcultural diversity which affect our daily lives. For example, getting your hair done, ladies, those of you who are listening, not applying to you, Stephen, obviously, no offense, but just getting your hair as a white woman, getting your hair done in a country. I mean, I've got very fair, very pale Celtic skin, and trying to get something that's not really dark in a Latin American, South American country, they're not used to redheads, they're not used to blondes. So that in itself, and the way they do things in the salon, you're sitting there and you're like, what are they doing? And you're sitting there and you've got to remember, this is their job. They know what they're doing. Well, you hope they know what they're doing. But also how they serve coffee, but also how you move around the country and the etiquettes. So the Mermaid's Guide is also looking at that, but also looking at women around the world, and the cultures of women and the attitudes and the behaviors of women. It's also looking at the environment, but not just the environment as in a planetary sense, but the environment within ourselves and in our head. And then I'm going to do a healthy eating and recipe book as well in the Mermaid's Guide. So hence why there's 9 in the Sacral series with the heavy content. There's a 5 or 6 in the Mermaid's Guide. And then I've got the Trilogy of Identity, which I'm also writing. And my PhD into international law and social justice just wraps it up in a nice, neat little bow. So,
nice. Nice.
Lots going on.
So if you ever wondered how my guest looks like, she is a very, very beautiful Celtic woman. Her fingers are about twice the size of the average fingers because she has been working out rather well. 15,000 words a day. That's right. That's right. I'm sure she has got free hands to type all that. No, the reality is it is creativity, and it is obviously learning to channel that creativity. Learning.
I call it unconscious conscious creation.
Beautiful. And but what you're doing is you're observing. You are, whilst you share so much and you talk to me today, I'm sure in your daily life, whilst you're talking, or many times not talking, you observe. You see what is happening around you. And that is such a lost skill, isn't it? It is such a strange thing because we are so focused on ourselves. We're so focused on our image. We're focused on our phones, for example. You're quite right. To actually just look around, and in this case, the hairstyle or the hairdresser. And, it is beautiful. And it is scary, no doubt. I remember I lived in Turkey for a month, and I went to a classic barber there, and it was freaking scary because he brings out a big knife that really sharp one that every gangster in the films
and he's not even
uses.
Looking.
No, that's right. And la 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 la. And then the guy sort of goes there and takes alcohol, basically pure alcohol, dinks some what is it? So like a big Q-tip, and then sets it on fire. And then walks towards you, and you think, "What the fuck is that? What are you doing?" And he singes off your nose here, singes off your ear here, things like that, and you think, "What the hell?" But it was all
that
part
is
of
the
the
Arabic
experience.
history thing that's in. Yeah, that is typical Arabic style. I mean,
Isn't
I know
it?
the Turks aren't Arabs, but that is a very Arabic style of doing
Correct.
things.
And isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? It was one of the loveliest experiences I've had. It was a damn good coffee I had to go along with that, and a nice,
Not
nice
Turkish coffee either. That's Arabic coffee
yeah,
too.
exactly. Careful. Erdogan will make sure that you will not lay any foot onto Turkey if you're not careful. And I guess
I was having a conversation with a Turk the other day, and he he made a comment, and I was like, well, I don't think I'm the kind of woman you want to be arguing that point with. And then he asked me a question, and I went, boom, there you go. Which part of Turkish history do you wish to discuss with me?
Ooh. That's, of course, tricky because Erdogan, as many other autocrats and despots, is trying to rewrite the history. So therefore, if you actually have read something from there, it makes you actually enemy number one. So be
absolutely.
careful. Well, which raises the question. Here you are as a woman who stands on her own two feet and who speaks out on women's issues, often enough in areas or in countries where women's rights or women's issues have been trampled upon, or where the macho culture is very strong. I mean, for Christ's sake, you're now in Argentine. It's beautiful to have that the masculinity of the tango dancer and the flamenco dancer, and the femininity of the respective partner. But if that is in real life and violence attached to it and all that, that's a tricky thing. And here you are, spouting out rebellious things such as, look after yourself, girls, you know, you have got a right to blah, blah.
Own those ovaries.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about your experiences there. Do you...
Here in Argentina, they're pretty much the same as everywhere I go, to be honest. Women around the world love blaming men for their problems. They love blaming their children and martyring themselves. Women love to emasculate men and blame, and I do get a lot of women go, oh, like, how can you say this? You're supposed to be empowering women. I said, well, actually, if you are the only person holding us back is ourselves. If we want a higher paid job, we can go find one, or we can set up our own business and make as much money or as little money as we like. If we don't want to be exhausted at the end of the day because we've been picking up after the kids and making their husband's dinner, then we have the choice not to do that. And if you're choosing to do it, you're choosing to do it. It's got nothing to do with your religion, nothing to do with your culture, nothing to do with society. You are an adult. Make your own choices. You're no longer a little girl. You're no longer controlled by your parents. And if you're in a controlling relationship, then it's because you've allowed yourself to be there and you have a choice to stay or leave. So to all the women who now either are cheering me on or hating me, then come have a conversation. It's the same. Women in England don't like it. My children went to a private school. And I remember shortly after my ex-husband and I got divorced, it was a complete shock to me. I didn't see it coming. It completely blindsided me. We were together 18 years. And I remember the Friday after I'd shown my first book, Friday Bridge, at the London Book Fair. He'd been in Egypt, and we had driven back down to London to collect him from the airport. And I noticed he was a bit off. I thought, well, maybe he's a bit tired. I was like, you're all right, darling. You know, like, what's the matter, babe? And he's like, yeah, I'm just, I said, oh, do you want me to drive back? Because this is a 5-hour trip. And then, we get back and he's still a bit distracted, asking me about the book and how it went. And then I said, look, what is the matter? You're really distracted. He goes, I want a divorce. I was like, what? did you want to talk about it? Like, what's going on, and as I describe in my books, what it was like becoming a single mom. Now, I could have chosen to hate him, but we healed our relationship, and, we're now like really, really great friends. But I remember these women in the playground, the ones that had gone to university, studied, had great dreams, and they met this husband, and she morphed into him and took on all of his ideas and all of his thoughts, and gave up her life to take care of the kids, and be the ultimate private school mum, and the soccer mum. And I remember one day this woman came up to me, she goes, "Your divorce has been amazing for me." I was like, "Oh, really? What's so glad for you?" And I was like, "Why is that?" She said, "Because we used to feel sorry for you because you couldn't come out to the spa, and you couldn't come and, shopping with us. And we always wanted you to come to lunch, but you were always at a business meeting. You were always there running the business and, taking care of the kids while your husband was away in a different country." And she goes, "And you were just always so busy." She goes, "But now that you're divorced, you've just hit the ground running." I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "If my husband divorced me tomorrow," she goes, "I wouldn't have a clue. I've not worked a day since I graduated and became his wife." She goes, "And I don't even take care of my kids. I've got a childminder in a private school that does that. I've got a cleaner." I said, "Well, then I suggest you go back to university, love, and you get yourself sorted out and you get yourself a job." I said, but now she's now got her own dental surgery. She went back, she trained as a dental nurse and as a dental surgeon. She bought her own practice with a loan from her husband, which she has now paid back.
Brilliant.
And I have so many husbands come to me after I've coached their wives and say to me, "You've saved my marriage." I'm like, "Why? How?" And they said, "Because it was all on me. The pressure was all on me
Beautiful.
to provide." And my wife now has something interesting to say to me. My wife is now no longer tired or exhausted, but even when she is, she's now the woman I fell in love with. She's now the woman who had those hopes and those dreams and those aspirations, and she's now got a different set of opinions to me, and that has reignited my attraction for her.
How beautiful. Wow.
And I just think, why would women not want their man to really, really be attracted to them? They dumb themselves in, they become really boring in the way that they dress, or they just, like I said, they just take on the views and the ideas of their husbands because they think that's what he wants. But a man doesn't want that. He wants the woman he fell in love with. And if she's lost herself and she's not doing the things that make her happy and the things that challenge her, one, how can she teach her children to do that? How is she going to make sure that her husband stays interested in who she is?
So true. Oh, please. Yes. Words of wisdom.
Well, shake some molecules. Not rattle them, I shake them, Stephen.
Shaken, not stirred. Okay, so that's the difference.
Yeah. No, I like a dirty martini, or I used to.
Well, exactly. Now, the reality, though, is the problem, of course, is that you're not just describing the women. The men are the same, essentially. Many men have lost themselves. They are working, and come home, and then they and now what? And then, there's all the pressures of daily life. Then there are the pressures that they put upon themselves. Then there are the pressures from their friends where you want to look on the Facebook and you think, "Oh, damn, he did what? Oh, God. See, I never go mountain biking, or I never do that." So you've got a bit more guilt and shame on you. And there's all that crap going on. So it's sometimes it's this codependency between the wife who has lost herself, the husband who has lost themselves, and they're sort of both pissed off and don't know really what's going on. And that's the reason that you have got the modern statistics: 50% of the marriage end up on the rocks. 60-70% of the partners, respectively male and female, go to have an affair. So if you look at it, it is crazy. And why? Because we couldn't even define ourselves. If you ask the average people around you, who are you? Oh, I'm in this case the dental surgeon. Mm.
By my
No,
mum.
no. Or the mum. That's right. Yeah, no. That's not what I mean. Not the role you've taken
Who
on.
are you?
Who are you? And in my case, I couldn't answer that. I had forgotten that. I had, maybe there was never, well, I guess it was there. I had aspirations, dreams, etc. But they then all focused on the job. I got really good. I was this go-getter who creamed it all. Yeah. And somewhere along the process, because I was going such a tunnel view, I completely forgot who I was. And then suddenly, yeah, there was this emptiness. And guess what? An alcohol, a drink, yeah, I can fill that emptiness quite nicely. Thank you very much. And
Numb
so
the
that,
pain, avoidance.
exactly right. And yes, I've written a book. Well, I have written the book on it.
Yeah, you have written the book.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you get the T-shirt to go
Yeah,
with it though?
I vomited on it. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
no merchandise for your book then.
Not yet.
Now, you do know I'm an author, strategist, and coach, don't you?
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, that's right.
We're going to have to address that right here, right now.
Absolutely. Now we need to talk, honestly, Dawn. That's fine. And see, if there wouldn't be this bloody COVID, then I would say, "Ooh, I have to do a little business trip to Buenos Aires." It's a city.
We don't need to do. This is the thing. I've been completely online for 3 years.
I know, but the smell of asado.
You just want to come back to Buenos Aires.
Of course. Watch a good tango show and just maybe dance a tango myself. Huh?
The reason I came to this part of Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
I mean, I sailed into Chile along the Magellan Straits, which is not actually the Magellan Straits. If you read Gavin Menzies' 1421. Magellan knew there was a way out because he had the Chinese charts. Maps to you landlubbers. You can tell I've been on land for far too long. I'm calling charts maps. But the thing was, we sailed, and then I made my way up through Patagonia. And so I've done along Argentina, along the border of Chile. And I was only coming here, like I say, for 3 weeks because my children were supposed to be here. We were going to go do the tango shows. I was taking the boys out for steak, and I was obviously just going to have the salads and chips. We were going to go do the horse riding, the Iguazu Falls. We're going to have a great time. We were then going to travel up through Brazil, and then we're going to fly home from Brazil.
Nice.
That was the plan. COVID happened. I went, well, I can't control what's going on around me, but I can control what's going on in my space. So I might as well just sit down and write a few books. Perfect. So that's what I've done.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that is rolling with the punches. You could have chosen to feel like a victim. You could have chosen to say, oh my God, poor me, another one. And there are many, many other coping mechanisms, maybe not so beneficial to you, that you could have chosen. Why did you choose the writing? Why did you choose, or how did you learn to choose yourself? Because that's essentially what you did. You chose to look after yourself. But how did you learn that?
Because I choose to be me every day. I choose to be alive. It's like being alive it's such a blessing. Why would you not want to be alive? Now, I did a show about a year or so ago now, because I believe that depression is a choice, and people do choose depression. And I was like, what? You can't say that. It's a chemical imbalance. I was like, yeah, it is. But what chemicals are you putting inside your body? What chemicals are you putting on your body when you're showering every day? Ooh. The ladies that are in my Phoenix Rising group, we're actually doing a 21-day shower challenge at the moment. So they sign up for the main challenge, which is creating a vision of their life. Yeah. And then we do a different challenge every single month, which they don't have to pay for once they're inside the group. So they pay for the initial one, and then we do one every single month. So the one at the moment is a 21-day shower challenge. And so basically, we the other day, one of the challenges was that as you're having a shower, I want you to just take notice or think about what's actually going on underneath your skin. So the next time you feel poor me, or I'm not worthy, or oh my days, I'm just whatever, going into all that drama, think about what's actually going on. You have got your blood pumping through your body, carrying oxygen around a huge, vast network of veins and nervous system. You have a heart pumping, you have lungs breathing, you have your liver and your kidney working. You have so many synapses kicking off and neural pathways connecting and disconnecting inside your brain, and so many thoughts and feelings. Your eyelids are moving and your eyes are flickering. You don't even know. And then you've got all the stuff going on in your ear canal. Then you've got these taste buds that might actually get a taste of your shampoo, and you might get, ugh, depending on what you're using, and then you've got all the nerves on your skin, and then you've got your skin, which is your biggest organ. And if you're putting toxins and carcinogenics on your skin, that's going inside your body. And if you're eating and drinking all of this crap, or you're watching programs or listening to stuff, or people in your space, then you're going to be overloading your body. And one of the reasons why a lot of people are depressed is because they are too afraid to speak their truth. They are not speaking up for who they are and saying what it is they want, because they don't know what they want, because they don't ask themselves, what do I want? And if they've gone from one relationship, they've gone straight into another one, and then into another one, because they're so afraid of who they are and discovering who they are, that they actually then get so lost and then so depressed. And it's like, if you are depressed in your environment, check who's in your environment, check what you're putting into your environment. So you can kind of get an idea of what the Mermaid's Guide to the Environment's all about now. But it really is a choice, because the information that we take in through our eyes, our ears, our nose and our mouth, and through our skin and through our energy, that actually contributes to our mental health, our happiness and our depression. I could choose to be really miserable in an apartment, but I have wooden floors and I have socks, and I can slide up and down this wooden floor, and I set myself daily challenges. Can I go further today? If I run to that line, how much further can I slide? I do my dancing. I turn my music up. I dance around this apartment. Footloose is absolutely amazing for that. I have learned the Paso Doble. I've learned the merengue. I can out-jive Carlton from The Fresh Prince. Thank you. I am no longer a drunken octopus. But it's a choice. I choose happiness every single day.
Yeah. Fantastic. Now, those of you who are already sharpening the knives and the pitchforks and lighting the torches to find Dawn and tell her in not so happy words that you disagree, may I point you to previous guests on my show? Maybe you want to have a look at Kate Kunkel, who is a dementia prevention specialist, and she will teach you that dementia is a choice. And you might as well think, what? And yes, it is a choice, because if you eat shit and don't look after yourself, guess what you're doing to your brain?
Or if you use Colgate and Oral-B and all the other toxic toothpaste out there.
That's, for example, there is indeed. Will there be controversial things there? Yes, fair call. And you don't necessarily have to go absolutely vegan, absolutely this, but you have choices.
Oh no, I couldn't give up cheese. I don't think. I'm not ready to give up cheese.
But there you go. For some people, that actually would be the right thing, because if there is this underlying low-grade allergy against dairy, then this is one of the things that give you inflammation. That's one of the things that can actually contribute to the development of cancers, development of brain
but what kind of dairy is it? Because again, when we look at, like, for example, the dairy, is it goat's cheese? Is it lamb, or is it cow?
Cow, that's right. And if you do cow...
Because the thing is, cows are so big, and their growth hormones are I mean, this is a thing that, what's that thing that only cats, osteoporosis, only humans and cats get osteoporosis.
Oh.
And the reason they get that, or one of the reasons they get that, is because of the growth hormones that cows have that get them to that size. So if you are going to choose a milk from an animal, or please forgive me, your listeners, but a friend of mine, Lisa, in Australia, she's one of those hardcore vegans. And I was drinking a cup of tea, and she goes, "What milk have you got in there?" And I was like, "Well, and they hadn't got any lamb's milk or any goat's milk." I said, "Oh, I've just got cow's milk. I don't really like it, to be honest." She goes, "So you're an interspecies tit sucker then?" I was like, "What?" And you know what? From that point on, I have not been able to drink or eat anything from like a cow. I've not been able to have animal milk, because, and I tell you what, that worked so well. She goes, "Would you sit underneath that cow and suck that cow's teat to get your milk?" I was like, "No." She goes, "Then why are you drinking it?"
Oh, yes, but then again, I'm an interspecies ass eater, okay? Because actually, the hindsight of a pork, nicely hung and salted and etc., which suddenly makes you a most beautiful bacon. Okay.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't eat pig if you paid me.
But these are our choices, okay? These are, and that is absolutely cool. Now,
but this is the thing. I was just about to say, when I was at college, I did food science. Half the class went vegetarian and vegan. The others actually stopped eating pig because we looked at it, and then a month after that lecture that we had on the DNA of animals, there was a guy in the UK who had a pig's heart transplanted into him, and we were like, "Yeah, we're done. We're really done." Even the people were like, "Yeah, no, not eating pig." In the Quran and in the Bible, in all the holy texts, it says don't eat it. So
that's hey,
different
cool.
Discussion for a different
discussion. And having said that, your baseline, I absolutely subscribe to. Because it is, I always say that about 80-90% of the things that you buy in a supermarket should really not be classified as food. They are a cocktail of chemicals. So yes, you're right, absolutely right. And
floor cleaners, rat poison.
You name it. A bit of sawdust thrown over it, and then a bit of a taste. Yeah. No, I agree. So
and sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And how many parents would put a line of Coke right in front of their kids for breakfast? Yet they give them sugared cereals.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. All that. But then again, to a certain degree, this is the lack of information that has been the social engineering that very clever millions of food scientists.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
Shoot.
Because it's not a lack of information. It's a lack of willingness to find the information. It's a lack of willingness to honor yourself, and a lack of willingness to love yourself wholly.
I like that. I'll take that. Absolutely. No, that's cool. Yes, you're quite right. Because it's so much easier to say, "Oh, these are nutters, these tree huggers there." No, and go back to the
cereal.
Nothing
wrong with hugging a tree. What are they on about?
Just don't do it naked in Hyde Park, is I guess my suggestion.
That might get you arrested.
That's right. Exactly. No, there is so much to be said about energy flow. There's a lot to be said about the positive aspects of every single thing you've touched upon. There is, and guys, as I said, whilst it might sound strange what Don just said, there is a little bit of a truth in there. And
there's always truth in what I say.
And she is so humble. I mean, it's just lovely.
You know why there's always truth in everything I say, though?
Shoot.
Because I love being wrong. Because when I'm proven wrong, it means I've been gifted an opportunity to learn.
Yes, same here. That's right. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Absolutely. I was like, I never lose. I'm too competitive. You should see me in a dojo.
Oh yeah. So here we go. See, guys, I'm a dangerous woman. A dojo, which is a Japanese traditional martial art place where you can play around.
Mixed martial arts, yeah.
That's mixed martial arts, MMA.
Mixed martial arts.
Here you go. So just don't get confused when you do a nice tango, and then go straight into a throw.
When I'm doing the paso doble.
Exactly. No, it is what it is. But then again, here you are. You're a woman who are trying things out. You're a woman who says, yeah, let's have a look at that. And what beautiful experiences derive from that willingness to be open. And that is so, this is exactly how I feel about life. And nowadays, I'm like a sponge, and a day where I have not learned something is an incredibly sad day for me.
I know, right?
Absolutely. And that means learning in real terms. Means for me, I love history, so for me, it's history.
The Mark Twain way of learning.
But what is that?
Never letting schooling interfere with your education.
I've forgotten. Yes, that's true. So true, so true. And be open, but also learn about yourself. Learn, just observe just as much as Dawn observes the people around her and focuses on the story of women and just the society in which she is placing herself. Why not look at the way your body reacts to a challenge, or your mind reacts to something someone said? Why not consider that a bit of a puzzle and actually figure, that was a funny reaction I just had there. Where did that come from? If you feel anxiety coming on, say, hello, anxiety. Haven't seen you for a while. Absolutely. Exactly.
And this is the thing, when your body is in pain or your body hurts or it feels a certain way, okay, how have I been sitting? What have I been drinking? What have I been eating? What is around me? What's in my space? Have I taken a walk? Have I been in nature? You know, for people that live I live on the 10th floor of the apartment building that I'm in. And it is essential for me every day to go downstairs and walk in nature so that the electricity in my body, I can ground myself. Now, for all those people that do probably think that I'm some kind of tree hugging out there, you know, don't get me wrong, I do like chocolate. I had 2 chocolate mousses earlier. They're only little tiny ones, that's why I had 2. Yeah. I mean, I probably would have had 2. I mean, also biscuits, right? I do have the gluten-free biscuits. And I don't buy biscuits very often because you can't just eat one biscuit, can you? You know, let's be honest. Because biscuits have got really small since my grandmother used to bake them for me.
Is that true?
Yeah. Dinner plates have got bigger, biscuits have got smaller.
Yeah. So
Especially the gluten-free ones. I mean, what's that? They're called bites. They're not biscuits. You know, if I can fit a whole biscuit in my mouth, then I'm sorry, I need to eat the whole packet.
Did you really want me to go down that route? Did you really want me to? No.
Well, my mum used to say, you know, like if I used to drink my tea or spill anything, she'd go, mouth that big and you still missed it. I'd be like, mother. She goes, don't you mother me. She goes, you, young lady, opinionated little madam. I'm like, yes, I am. And I have got an opinion because I learn a lot, mum. She goes, I know, I've been calling you for the last half an hour and you've still got your head in that bloody book. You know, excellent. And this is the thing, it's
excellent.
When you're a geek, I mean, I am a self-confessed geek. I love knowledge. My reading material, I've just got one more chapter left of the biography of a genome. Oh my days, talk about an amazing book. I'm like, It's like when I read Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace or Bleak House by Charles Dickens, such big books, and I just didn't want them to end. And I was like, please don't end. And I'd get to like 3-5 chapters towards the end, and I'd be like, oh, don't read it today, but I've got to read it today. No, don't read it because it's going to end. And I've got this book about the genome theory, and I've just read The Fifth Miracle by Rich Davis, which is about, you know, our cellular makeup, and are we from Mars, and like the atoms and the molecules within us and the energetic things, and how certain bodies born at different parts and when they were born and which part of the world that they're from, and like the makeup of the water and the foods that we eat and the soil that we grow in, and not that we grow in, our vegetables that grow in, but looking at how and why we need to have all these minerals in our diet, because we are actually from Mars, not just men, women too. And, you know, and it's, it was just mind blowing. And I read books like The Difference by Scott Page, or, you know, which is all about subculture and subcultures in diverse communities, and things like the strategic management and organizational dynamics and the paradoxes of it all. These are the kind of books I read for fun. I am a geek, right? And I love that about myself. So when people say to me, who are you? I'm like, I'm cheeky, passionate, and playful, and very bloody curious. That's who I am.
That's beautiful. Now, for you guys out there, just ask yourself, if you were stuck in an elevator for an hour, would you choose someone like Dawn, who probably could talk your ear off and then put it on the other side? But you would probably find something that the two of you actually can relate to. Or
Absolutely.
Would you rather be stuck with yourself? Exactly the same person as you are, standing next to you for an hour in a lift. And no, there is no cell phone reception. So answer that question.
What a great question.
Truly hand on heart. Because if I think about the bore that I was, yes, I could tell you, when I was 18, I studied circus arts. And yeah, I did martial arts when I was 18. Yay. And I've got even pictures to show me when I was 18. But I was, you know, in my mid-40s. And what are you doing now? Nothing. So
playing on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. And even I was too tired for that, unless I had 2 bottles of wine, of course. So no, the question is, what do you want to write on your epitaph? You know, what do you want to, how do you define yourself when people look back at your life and say, okay, he was a really great, what will be there? Bore? Or, he was really good in his job. He knew everything about repairing a television. If that is your epitaph, hey man, if you're happy with that, if you were the born television repairman, good on you, man, if you're happy with that. But if you, as a woman, say, yes, I'm happy to be the perfect mother.
There's no such thing as a perfect mother, though.
True. But that is what we all want to be, isn't it? We want to be perfect in what we're doing.
No,
and especially
I want
women.
to be imperfect.
Oh, no, wrong. I want to be nowadays perfectly imperfect. Okay? That's nowadays.
But isn't that what imperfection is?
We're getting very philosophical here.
I'm doing a PhD in international law and social justice, and the modules that we're learning at the moment are all about ethics and philosophy, and I'm just like, amazing.
Exactly right. So guys, it is just for you out there, if you are stuck in a boring relationship, and if you want to bring some spark into a relationship, then how about you read something new? How about you don't need to go out there and buy yourself a maiden outfit? Certainly not you boys, unless you really, really, really want to. That's okay. But no, why not start loving yourself? Stop it, Dawn, honestly. No. This is a nice show. Come on. Careful, don't say it. Now, why not develop yourself and actually go out there and become a new version of yourself? Start loving yourself. Start looking in the shower. Okay, you guys, Dawn is just falling to apart out there. And I struggle to keep a straight face here. I think the reality is, guys, if you want to get your shit together and have meaningful relationships, meaningful lives, meaningful everything, you need to start on yourself, okay? Read the books. Okay, sorry. Now I have to start. It's the giggle juice that is flowing now.
Well,
freely.
I do giggle my way. Have you know, like someone said to me, like, how do you just? You giggle your way to abundance. That's what you do, and that's the thing. When you're happy, like you say, when you know who you are and you accept yourself. I know I've got a dirty mind. I know I have, and I own that, right? So sometimes I've read Anaïs many times. She's a fabulous author. If you haven't read her, go read her.
And
I can't even go to the gym and work on the TRX machines. I'm like, no, that's just my mind goes somewhere else. But the thing is, if you are not willing to love yourself and find out who you are, and then accept who you are, how can you, one, teach your children to love who they are, or your nieces and nephew, or but how can you teach other people how to love you?
Absolutely. And I thought, actually, when you earlier were saying the 21-day shower challenge, I thought you would go down that route to actually say, okay, hello, boobs. Okay, nice boobs. And, get to know your boobs. That's my point. Get to know your body again. We try to hide 15 pullovers because you believe that edge is a little bit too round and that's a little bit too corny. And
like my eldest son said, and I didn't know what to do. He goes, Mummy, stop worrying about whether you've got lumps and bumps in the wrong place. Men don't go to the butcher's to get bones, do they? They go for steak.
Ooh, okay.
He was 15. I was like, 15. I like you. Excellent. You're going to make a woman very happy.
Excellent. Oh, good on him. You taught him well. No, you modeled.
I did.
You modeled well. Okay, you would have modeled yourself. You would have shown that side of yourself at a much earlier stage, and he picked up on that. That is all I mean, kids are like sponges. They will emulate, they will copy absolutely everything you do. So if you're pissed off with the behavior of a junior, then maybe you have to think long and hard why, and maybe what you're modeling is maybe not so much.
It's interesting you say that, because I remember I was delivering a workshop, and it was all about entrepreneurship, and there was a couple of things that I mentioned, and one of the things I said was, if you are going to go to somebody for business advice, stop going to those that are hired by government agencies. Because these people that are offering you this business advice are relying on government funding to fund their job. They are no different to those people who are actually on benefits, because people on benefits are expecting the government to fund their lifestyle. And just because they call themselves a business consultant, once that funding runs out, that person's out of a job. But I would say only go to a business mentor or a business coach, or someone who's actually got a business, not relying on funding from someone else. And the other thing was, when we are going home to our children, and we are going home stressed from our job, moaning about our job, or we're going to work in a suit and tie and we absolutely hate it. We are telling our children that work is horrible. We are telling our children that you work with people that you don't like. And and that's not really the career path that I want my children to see. I want my children to see how amazing work is. And when you put the effort in, you achieve amazing things. And I remember when I had a parents' evening and my eldest son's drama teacher said to me, your son needs to learn to work with people that he does not like. I went, why? And she goes, because he doesn't work with these kids in the class. So I said, well, why doesn't he? She goes, well, I don't know. He just won't work with them. And he sat next to me, why didn't you work with these kids in the class? He goes, because they're just stealing my education, Mum. I'm here to learn. I'm here to do the work that the teacher wants me to do. And these kids are just messing about all the time, being wasters. And they're not bothering. And I don't want to work with them because that's going to affect my grades. I'm here to play the game of school. I'm here to get my grades. He goes, and I don't want to work with them because I don't like them. And you've always said environment is everything, Mother. I said, well, it is. And then I just looked at the teacher, well, would you work with people you didn't like, or would you go get another job? You're asking my child to do something that you're not willing to do. He can't change schools again. He's already been in 3. I said, but your job is to make sure that, you know, if he doesn't like these children or these children are not engaged for whatever reason, then the children that don't want to work with each other, there is a reason for that. He's told you now why he doesn't want to work with them. So you've now got the choice of either removing those children from that classroom or finding out what it is that they don't want to do in drama, why they're in drama and don't want to be there. I said, they're just accepting that there are kids that don't want to work with each other. I'm not going to force him to do it. I said, and if you make him work with these kids, I'll take him out of drama class. Simple as that, really.
Interesting, isn't it? Interesting.
I used to spend a lot of time talking to the teachers because my children would come out with things that I teach them. Smart people don't follow stupid rules.
And that's so true. But these are lessons that are not necessarily taught at school, or I say most schools. It is
because school is set up to indoctrinate you to follow the rules and to make you not think.
Unfortunately, yes. It is. I agree. End of the story.
And I've been a school governor and a school teacher, so you know.
Unfortunately, I agree, and that is where I pay so much emphasis or pay so much attention to talking honestly to my boys about my emotions, about my life, about the books that I read, about the little side snippets that really make history interesting, about the sociology, about everything. There is so much. Like you, I'm a nerd, and there are not enough books in this world. I would just read them and learn. So let's go out there, and because we have got, as mummies and daddies, we have got the duty to actually bring up our kids in such a way that they can maneuver themselves through life in a meaningful way. And you need to see what schools are doing. For that, you need to understand what the roles of the teachers are and what they are actually, bringing forward. But you need to make that call. You need to take an interest there. That is your duty. You're not just there to I don't know, feed them or so. You need to feed them the knowledge. You need to feed them the creativity. You need to feed them the common sense, the street smartness.
You need to lead by example.
Correct. For that, you need to love yourself. For that, you need to get to know yourself. For that, you need to see that little scar there. Oh yeah, I remember where that came from. And that little scar in my heart, I know where that scar came from. Okay, so don't just look only on that scars or on that boob that is too low or too high or to what's right or left, but look what is in your heart, what is in your brain, what do you feed it. So you're so right. Dawn, this was an amazing interview, an absolute
Thank
lovely
you.
interview, because it is, God, we are bloody twins, aren't we? In the way, so in the way we think, in the way we are a bit on the nutty side of things. But then again, normal people scare me. So that's always something I
You know
said.
what I say? It's a bit of a cliche, and I think it's become a bit of a bumper car sticker. But I did see it once, and I was like, yeah, that's me. Turn your weirdo light on so other weirdos find you.
Correct.
And,
correct.
you know, birds of a feather flock together and all the other, you know, cliches that you can come up with. But yeah, I just think that, you know, there are those of us that, I mean, I used to get bullied at school for being such a geek and always being in the library. And here I am writing books and sailing around the world, coaching others to write the books and publishing other people's books for them. And now all the people that were at school that bullied me either hate me even more or want to be my friend. And
how funny
my
that
friend, funny, right? But then my friend Jamie, she says, I'm going to get a t-shirt with I'm the best friend. And Mummy Sandra, which is what I call her mum, she goes, and I'm getting a t-shirt with I'm the best friend's mum. It's just like, you two don't need to have t-shirts. Please don't. And they go, no, we're going on tour. We're going to go on tour.
The merchandise.
And I was like, are you? Yeah. And they're like, but you know, and it is interesting that once we actually step into who we are and own who we are, and we discover who we are, the world becomes a better place, because when we give ourselves permission, then other people get permission, right? And I always say that gift yourself permission to give yourself permission to have permission.
I like it. It's a bit on the hard side because my brain does typically only go sort of 2 steps, but yours is going, you come on.
But only if you tell it to.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I've got a lot of friends who exactly believe into that. Oh, God, I need to introduce you to a few people
We need a whole restaurant. When I get back to New Zealand.
Oh, God. Oh, God. And then we need to make sure it's soundproof, because if people walk by and actually listen and think, what the?
No one cares in New Zealand. What are you on about?
Oh, exactly. Exactly right. Yeah, that's right. That's actually true. New Zealand, that is what we do well.
I do miss New Zealand a lot.
Shit, yeah.
I had some I remember walking down the street in Auckland once, and they were like, "Oi, mermaid girl!" I was like, "Oh no!"
Excellent.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to come back to New Zealand to
hopefully
finish,
soon,
because that's where I started the circumnavigation.
Excellent! I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So you need to come back. There's no way.
No, well, that's going to be once I get there. That's going to have completed the journey.
Well,
so
you get the guided tour towards Rotorua and our surroundings here.
Rotorua.
We need to meet Rotorua, where the earth crust is as thin as a bit of an icicle, kind of a thing.
I'm going to go on the Coromandel, because I didn't get to go on the Coromandel last time because there was a storm. So
there's so many beautiful places, honestly.
There are, very much so.
Dawn, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you.
This was a fantastic discussion. And guys, I hope we have set the flame a little bit on your pyre. Hopefully we have shown you that there is a world out there that is so beautiful that once you start tapping into it, that you can't get enough of it. It is a little bit of an addiction to actually live this life, to live it with such fullness and creativity. It is, I don't want to stay in bed. It's 6:30, I wake up, I jump out, and come on, let's do things. And my wife...
Got to make your bed first, though.
Oh, no. I'm not one of them. No, because I actually believe in the open bed. I like it to air. I like freshness.
You just fold your sheets back, but you still make it by folding the sheets back.
There we agree to disagree.
If the homeless can make their bed.
Oh, dear me. No. See, there must be one thing wrong with me. I can't be perfect. So therefore, my bed will not be made. Perfectly imperfect. That's right. So embrace the nerdiness in you guys, because that's what makes you unique. You don't need to look like the Joneses, feel like the Joneses, and behave like the Joneses. Otherwise, there are too many Joneses around. No, I want to know you as you, and if you get to know yourself as yourself, wow, you're going to be amazed what comes out of the woodwork. Okay.
Yeah, and you can giggle on a podcast, something that others think is really inappropriate.
That is correct. Because you have got the kahunas, the ovaries to do so.
Own your ovaries.
So guys, look after yourself. Have a fantastic day and make today that one choice that will turn your life a bit around. Just choose one thing. Don't go all nuts, but choose one thing. Make a choice towards something what you want to be. That might be maybe eating something different, maybe not having that glass of wine, or maybe just going for a walk and hug a tree. Try to hug a tree. It's actually not a bad thing. People look at you a bit stupid, but it's actually fun because it makes you giggle, and the giggling is so healthy. So go out there, have a fantastic time, and Dawn, to you, I can't wait to read more of your books, and I wish you good luck with your offering. And don't you dare,
likewise,
don't you dare stop being that goofy girl that you are. You are fantastic. Okay.
Hey, I've just had my teeth done. What are you on about?
Look after yourself out there. Bye.
You too. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.